Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. This is Deepika, and coming up in the next 30 minutes. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address the third edition of Kautilya Economic Conclave in New Delhi this evening. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar to visit Islamabad for SCO Summit. Israel conducts multiple strikes on Hezbollah's South Beirut stronghold. India hopes conflict in West Asia does not escalate. And with an eye on maiden ICC World T20 trophy, Indian women's cricket team all set to take on New Zealand in their opening encounter in Dubai. Principal Secretary to Prime Minister of India, P.K. Mishra, attended the Kautilya Economic Conclave in New Delhi on Friday. Well, this is the third edition of the Kautilya Economic Conclave, where he was chairing a panel of eminent economists from across the world. While speaking at the event, he said that India has been on the path of economic reforms and that for the last 1 decade, India's growth story has been imminent.
This year's conclave is in the backdrop of a more widespread geopolitical tensions. India fortunately has a government securing an electoral mandate for the third consecutive term and a clear vision for the future. The theme of this session is significant in the context of the Amrit Kal. India is working on Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision for a Viksit Bharat or a developed nation by 2047. In this context, the theme, raising the effectiveness of government, priorities for domestic economic reform in India, is very relevant during this Amrit Kal. During the last 10 years, government has taken wide-ranging structural and governance reform that have significantly strengthened the economy's foundations and enhanced overall efficiency. The focus has been on reform to enhance growth and capacity of the economy, more focus on economic and social infrastructure, partnering with private sector for development, leveraging digital connectivity and technology.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to address this important Kautilya Economic Conclave this evening. Earlier in the morning, while delivering the inaugural address, India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman highlighted on the factors that have led to India's growth story in the last decade. The minister also noted that the government aims at reducing the fiscal deficit from 5.6% in financial year 2024 to 4.9% in financial year 2025.
Our government continues to uphold its commitment to reducing the fiscal deficit. Aided by buoyant revenue generation, restrained revenue expenditure growth, and healthy economic activity, the fiscal deficit is estimated to decline further from 5.6% of GDP in FY24, I'm basing on provisional actuals, to 4.9% in FY25. The commitment to fiscal discipline will not only help keep bond yields in check, but will translate to lower economy-wide borrowing costs.
In an exclusive conversation with DD India correspondent Ajay Mishra, Chief Economist of OECD Alvaro Pereira hails India's economic growth story and hoped that energy transition policies would attract more investment.
I have with me the Chief Economist of OECD, Mr. Alvaro, on DD India. Sir, thanks very much. I just want to understand that the reforms which is being undertaken in India, how does the OECD view it, and what exactly is the point of view of Indian growth story as of now?
Well, right now, India is the growth champion of the G20, and it's not by chance. This happens for the simple reason that in the past few years, there's been very bold reforms to improve the business environment, to foster competitive federalism, which I think is paying big dividends, but also big reforms like the GST and many areas trying to give the state as well to become more competitive. And initiatives like Make in India, which I think will have significant repercussions not only in the medium but also in the long term. And so what this means is that basically, together with a big investment in improvement in infrastructure and in skills, so investing in education, this is allowing India to grow very fast. And I sincerely think that if this reform momentum continues, and with the strategic vision that we've seen in the past few years, I think we're going to continue to have very strong growth for India.
Going forward, how do you see the energy transition as an issue, and what path should India take? Because there is lots of discussion on this very issue, that what are the measures that the developing nations as well as the developed nations should take on this very important issue of climate change.
Well, listen, the green transition means that, according to some estimates, about 4 trillion euros or in dollars will have to be invested every year. It's a great opportunity. I think India, because it already has a lot of renewables, and again because it's developing, is very based also on services. But even on manufacturing, I think it's based on a lot of renewables as well. There's a great opportunity for India.
Lord, thanks very much for speaking to DD India, and I appreciate for your time. So the energy transition is very key for the economic reforms going forward, and we might expect some great investment in that sector as per OECD. Ajay Mishra, DD India, New Delhi.
India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar is in Sri Lanka on a day-long visit. And during his visit, Dr. S. Jaishankar met with country's newly elected leadership and congratulated them for their new responsibilities. Dr. S. Jaishankar called on President Anura Kumara Dissanayake. External Affairs Minister conveyed warm greetings of India's President Draupadi Murmu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Both the leaders discussed ways to deepen ongoing cooperation and strengthen India-Sri Lanka ties for the benefit of the people of the two countries and the region. The Indian minister also met Sri Lanka's Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasurya. He discussed digital public infrastructure, training and capacity building with the Prime Minister. Further, both of them agreed to work together to advance India-Sri Lanka partnership. Earlier, Dr. S. Jaishankar also held wide-ranging talks and also reviewed various dimensions of India-Sri Lanka partnership with his counterpart Vijita Herath. India's External Affairs Minister assured him of India's continued support to Sri Lanka's economic rebuilding. Dr. S. Jaishankar also interacted with Sri Lanka's leader of opposition, Sajith Premadasa, and appreciated his continued support for the India-Sri Lanka relationship. Moving on, India's defence sector has seen remarkable growth, with domestic production reaching a record 1.27 crore lakh rupees in 2023-24. Now, this also marks a 16.7% increase over the previous year and a staggering 60% growth as compared to 2019-2020. The synergy between public and private sectors have also been a cornerstone of this success. SIDM Annual Session 2024 and Champions Award saw 85 nominees across 12 categories. DD India's Anil Thomas has more details. Take a look.
India's defense sector is on a roll, with domestic production reaching a record of 1.27 lakh crore for the year 2023-24. A significant 60% of this growth is attributed to the private sector, highlighting the maturing defense industrial base of India. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh, speaking at the opening session of the SIDM Annual Session 2024, stressed the importance of SIDM as a platform to determine the future direction of India's defense manufacturing.
ये मंच वास्तव में भारत के डिफेंस मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के फ्यूचर की दिशा तय करने का एक बहुत ही इम्पॉर्टेंट मंच बन गया है। ऐसा मैंने पिछले 4-5 बार में जब भी यहाँ आया हूँ देखा है। और इस बार के एनुअल फंक्शन की आप सबने जो थीम रखी है, एम्पावरिंग इंडियन डिफेंस इंडस्ट्री, कैटलाइजिंग एक्सपोर्ट्स एंड इंडिजिनस इनोवेशन, ये थीम आपके विजन को दिखाती है और आपके विजन के साथ साथ ये डिफेंस सेक्टर में आत्मनिर्भरता की ओर भारत सरकार के संकल्प को भी यह दर्शाती है।
The defense industry can only be empowered for the future if it understands the nature of future threats and the way they are going to manifest actually.
The defense industry can only be empowered for the future if it understands the nature of future threats and how they're going to manifest actually, and how the Indian armed forces are actually visualizing it. To some extent, Baba Kalyani did make a mention of AI, machine learning and new technologies which are going to revolutionize warfare in the future. So the industry has to understand as to how Indian armed forces are seeing how this warfare is going to unfold and how they're going to fight.
To boost defense manufacturing, 7 domains have been recognized for establishing testing facilities in the defense industrial corridor in India.
Easing of licensing procedure has also provided companies with better opportunity to get finance from institutions. In last 7-8 years, there is almost 200% increase in the number of defense licenses issued by the government to various industries. FDI policy has also been liberalized. Friends, promotion of innovation and technology development is also a priority area where government is making a special effort.
The annual summit also saw an MOU signed between AICTE and SIDM. Private defense companies were recognized for their stupendous achievement across 12 categories. Anil Thomas, DD India, New Delhi.
India's Minister of Commerce and Industry, Piyush Goyal, on Friday announced the signing of MOU to expand and diversify critical minerals supply chains between India and the United States. This development was the highlight of the 6th India-US Commercial Dialogue, which the minister co-chaired with the US Secretary of Commerce, Gina Raimondo, in Washington, D.C. During the dialogue, both the leaders reaffirmed their commitment to driving outcome-oriented actions to ensure steady progress on key priorities throughout the year. In a press conference, Minister said that in today's time, India-US relations are transcending politics.
The Honorable Prime Minister was here, the Honorable Defense Minister, Foreign Minister, and I have already been here. And next week, the Honorable Finance Minister will be here. Only to share with you that the US-India relationship is today transcending politics. We have worked with 3 administrations. Mr. Modi's tenure, we had Obama administration, Trump administration and Biden administration.
Now, Minister Piyush Goyal delivered the keynote at the CSIS Center for Strategic and International Studies event on India's evolving manufacturing landscape in Washington, D.C. The minister discussed how historic reforms, diversification and localized supply chains are transforming India into a global manufacturing powerhouse. He also highlighted the Make in India initiative's role in positioning the country as a key beneficiary of shifting global supply chains, presenting great opportunities for the investors.
When we talk of working amongst trusted partners, India figures high on the list of most parts of the world. And therefore, I believe that our effort to maintain the manufacturing ecosystem in India, even despite all the challenges we inherited in 2014 and the COVID crisis of 2.5 years, the 2 wars that continue to subsist, threatening to escalate, with the Red Sea crisis having affected our international trade, with all of these challenges, the fact that Indian economy grew by 90%, when the world economy grew by about 35% in the last 10 years. And we have maintained our manufacturing share at 17% despite all these challenges inherited and faced in the last 10 years. Gives us the courage of conviction and confidence to believe that we can aspire to take Indian manufacturing to about 25%.
Now, Indian Air Force Chief, Air Chief Marshal A.P. Singh spoke on the operational preparedness ahead of the 92nd anniversary of the Indian Air Force. The IAF chief stressed that Atmanirbharta Our self-reliance is a major focus of the Air Force and said that the country is well equipped to face any contemporary challenges. He added that the IAF is making rapid changes to transform into a truly global Air Force.
As we progress, our endeavor is to now focus on not only just maintaining our systems that are there, but also to live up to our motto, which you read there, which is Saksham, Sashakt or Atmanirbhar. So our motto remains to keep progressing, becoming more and more potent and also more and more self-reliant. In that we are giving preference to all the indigenous equipment. We are inducting LCAs.
Time to take a short break, but still to come on DD India Live. India's Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh gives information about the Indian International Science Festival 2024. The list of Germany's richest people has come out. And Nepal makes damage survey after recent disaster.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back after that short break. You're watching DD India Live with me, Deepika. Now, Maldives President Mohammad Muizzu will travel to India on an official visit from the 7th till the 10th of October. This is the first bilateral visit of President Muizzu to India. He will also visit Mumbai and Bengaluru.
President of the Republic of Maldives, His Excellency Dr. Mohammad Muizzu, will be travelling to India on a state visit during 7th to 10th of October 2024. This will be the first bilateral visit of President Dr. Muizzu to India. As you know, he had earlier visited India in June 2024 to attend the swearing-in ceremony of the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. During the visit, he'll also be visiting Mumbai and Bengaluru, where he'll have business engagements.
Beirut rocked with fresh explosions late Thursday after Israel conducted multiple strikes on Hezbollah's South Beirut stronghold. Loud blasts have been reported near Beirut's international airport that borders the suburb of Dahia, Hezbollah's stronghold in the city and a continuing target for Israeli airstrikes. A source close to Hezbollah said Israel had conducted 11 consecutive strikes on the group's South Beirut stronghold on late Thursday. Israel claimed to hit Hezbollah's intelligence headquarters in the city as troops battled terror groups' armed men near the border. Earlier, the Israeli military called on civilians near two buildings in southern Beirut to move away ahead of an air raid. Explosions were heard amid wailing sirens as multiple rockets were intercepted by Israel's Iron Dome defense system over the northern city of Haifa on Friday. Lebanon's Iran-backed Hezbollah group said on Thursday it had targeted Israel's Hakhnin base for military industries in Haifa Bay with salvo of rockets. Planes were taking off and landing at Beirut Rafik Hariri International Airport on Friday amidst Israeli strikes. The airport is in southern Beirut, which is also where the southern suburb of Dahia, a stronghold of the Hezbollah armed group, is located. The area came under renewed Israeli strikes near midnight on Thursday after Israel ordered people to evacuate. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi landed in Beirut, where he will meet Lebanon's caretaker Prime Minister Najib Mikati and the Speaker of the Parliament Nabi Berri, who is Hezbollah's close ally as well. Israeli forces claimed on Friday to have seized caches of military equipment, including ammunition, rocket launchers and anti-tank weapons, while operating in southern Lebanon. The video released by the Israeli military showed what appeared to be ammunition and other military equipments inside a residential building. Israel sent troops into southern Lebanon on Tuesday. India's Ministry of External Affairs is ready to help in evacuation of Indian nationals stuck in the conflict zone in West Asia. Addressing the media, spokesperson of Ministry of External Affairs, Ranveer Jaiswal, said that there are flights operating from the West Asian region for any Indian who wants to come back from those countries.
From Iran and from Israel and other countries, there are flights which are running. So as of now, people who want to leave the country, they have that option. I understand that some people had reached out, their families had reached out to our embassy. They, of course, because the flights are running, they have the option of leaving.
Russia launched an overnight drone attack on critical Ukrainian energy infrastructure. The Ukrainian Air Force said that it shot down 9 of the 19 drones launched by Russia. The attack damaged an apartment and a business administrative building, but it did not cause any casualties. The strike comes a day after Russia captured a key city in Donetsk. Meanwhile, a fire erupted at a fuel storage facility in Russia after a Ukrainian drone strike. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will travel to Islamabad to attend the SCO summit.
The External Affairs Minister will lead our delegation to Pakistan to participate in the SCO summit, which will be held in Islamabad on 15th and 16th, I understand, of October.
Moving on, the Union Cabinet, under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, has approved to confer the status of classical language to Marathi, Pali, Prakrit, Assamese and Bengali languages. The latest approval brings the total number of classical languages to 11 till date. The decision will reinforce the importance of linguistic diversity, also acknowledging the vital role played by these languages in shaping up the nation's cultural identity. The classical languages category was created back in the year 2004 by the Indian government, and for the first time, with Tamil being the first language to be included in the list. After revising the criteria for inclusion as classical language, Sanskrit, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam and Odia were added to the list. The inclusion of languages as classical languages will create significant employment opportunities in diversified fields, especially in the academic and research sectors. Additionally, the preservation, documentation and digitization of ancient texts in these languages will generate jobs in areas such as archiving, translation, publishing and digital media. At an event in New Delhi, Indian Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh gave information about the Indian International Science Festival 2024. He added that the central government has taken all steps to provide a boost to new initiatives in the field of science. The minister also said that marine and Himalayan sciences will play a role in increasing development.
All these Himalayan states are going to make a contribution. The marine resources, so again, Dr. Ravi Chandran is there, the Deep Sea Mission Prime Minister spoke on 2 consecutive Independence Days. So our entire value addition is also to a large extent going to be from the Himalayan resources, from the marine resources, which are our natural resources. We've been there for centuries and centuries, but they were not attended to. And I think this is now the time to realize the young startups or the potential areas.
They are often admired and sometimes despised, the world's richest people. They are also definitely constantly watched and ranked. And just now, the list of Germany's richest people has come out. Lars Halter is with Deutsche Welle and joins me from Berlin to talk more about this. Thank you so much, Lars, for joining us. Now, if you talk about it, who's on the list and what does it tell us about money in Germany, Lars?
Interesting, if I just read to you the names on the list, let's just say the top 10, there wouldn't be many you would even know. And that is because wealth, and especially extreme wealth, is not usually flaunted in Germany. It is in a great contrast to some other countries, let's say the United States, where Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, but also Bill Gates and Warren Buffett are household names. They're constantly in the spotlight. In Germany, most of the wealthiest people try their best to avoid the spotlight. Let's just take number 1 of that list, a gentleman by the name of Dieter Schwarz. He is the founder and still boss of retail giant Lidl, one of Germany's huge discounters. His wealth stands at 43 billion euros, and there's no photo available of him more recent than a few decades ago.
Thank you so much, Lars, for joining us and bringing us that quick update. Moving on, Nepal's Ministry of Physical Infrastructure and Transport inspected the damages made by recent floods and landslides to the roads and bridges. An estimated amount of $20 to $25 billion is needed for repairing. Billion rupees is needed for repairing, restoring and reconstruction of the roads and bridges damaged in the recent disasters. The preliminary observations showed the temporary operation of the damaged roads and bridges that would cost 3 billion rupees. Over 800 spots of 34 highways face damage due to landslides. All-out efforts are being made to clear obstructions at 31 places on 5 major highways. Heavy equipment and human workforce were mobilized in 29 highways to remove the obstructions. On to sports now. India is all set to begin their T20 Women's Cricket World Cup campaign against New Zealand in their opening encounter at Dubai's International Cricket Stadium. India, who've got a tough challenge in front of them, would like to begin on a victorious note to avoid any tournament pressure building here on. And that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from the country and the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screens to download it right now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I am Deepika, and from all of us here in New Delhi, thank you so much for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.